There's been a storm brewing inside of Nintendo for decades now. There's been a scandal that the higher-ups have been working their hardest to keep under wraps. Most of the public seems to have forgotten about their big blunder, but I feel the time is right for the public at large to finally know the truth about what Nintendo has done. In 1985, Nintendo, in an act of pure foolishness, released Tennis for the Nintendo Entertainment System, which has been, by far, their greatest embarrassment in all of history. This game immediately tanked their reputation, with major media outlets at the time referring to it as pure unfiltered garbage and horse shit. Following Nintendo's questionable business decisions as of recent, I thought I would piss all over the open wound of their reputation and show the world what NES Tennis was all about. The truth is that Tennis for the NES was just a normal tennis game, and that's the problem. Tennis fucking sucks. It's a form of torture that the West got their grubby little hands on and turned into a game.
Conan, could it be that maybe tennis isn't a bad sport and you're just letting out the trauma from being made fun of in gym class because you were the only kid who could never figure out how to serve the ball to your fellow classmates? Could it be that you're just a physically inept fat nerd?
No, fuck you, I'm not a nerd, I'm a chap! I'm not the only one who thinks tennis is garbage either. I asked my good friends for their opinions on the matter, and here are the answers I got. You can see from my experiment that approximately 100% of people hate tennis. Tennis needs to be outlawed in all of the world's countries. It needs to be banned from our schools. Our children are exposed to this daily, and we as a society simply don't care. It's mad. It just can't be! Desperate for answers as to why the people have been so reluctant to do something about this evil led me to do something that has never happened on the Konami channel. I did some research, and I contacted some of the highest profile scholars in the country. Speaking now is him, who is also an expert on all things tennis.
Tennis was born out of sheer necessity. When America started building its many prisons, it needed activities for the prisoners to do. America, wanting a torture method, contacted their best buddy France, since their entire country was just a giant torture method. The Americans assumed that they could make one on a smaller scale for prisoners, and thus they developed tennis. And it would go as follows: force the prisoners to keep a rally going for hours on end, and if you failed, you got shot. Simple as that. Very, very simple concept. It did wonders for helping the prisoners behave, believe me. However, like all things, it was, eventually discovered by, white people, who transformed it from a dreaded form of torture used in prisons to a dreaded form of torture you drop your kids off to practice at 5 p.m. every Tuesday night. Mom, stop signing me up for tennis! I don't like it! But I mean, the rest, as they always say, is history. Thank you for having me, Konami. I'm sure your video will be fucking garbage.
Thank you. Fuck you too. Now, I can hear all 7 tennis fans out there crying in my comments about how they like tennis and how I'm personally attacking them. First off, thanks for interacting with my video. The algorithm likes me more when you do that. You're really doing me a solid. Thanks. And second, I have a solution for your issue, which is to play badminton instead, since badminton is a far superior version of tennis. What do you mean, Kona? How is it superior? They're basically the same. No, they're not the same. There's a single key difference that makes one game shit and the other a hit. In tennis, you use a ball. Can you say that? And in the other, you hit a particular projectile known simply as the birdie. Now, the birdie is superior to the ball for more reasons than I could possibly list, so I'll give you some highlights. When you miss the ball, you have to chase it halfway across the planet before you catch it and skedaddle your way back to the court to keep playing. In badminton, when you miss it, it just hits the ground and you have to walk like 3 or 4 steps to get it and keep playing, and it's way more convenient to the players. Tennis balls feel like they're made of sandpaper, and getting hit by one at high speed hurts like a bitch. Getting hit by a birdie feels like getting poked by the eraser end of a pencil, and instead of hurting like a bitch, getting hurt by it makes you a bitch. Tennis balls are boring. Every sport uses a ball. Badminton shakes things up by giving you the visual of beating up a bird, which in my humble opinion is a much funnier and genuinely more interesting way to look at it. I said so, and my word is law. I have a confession to make, however. Despite my unending barrage of hatred towards tennis, there's something that I simply cannot ignore, and that I can't keep on my chest. I know what this looks like. I look like a traitor to the anti-tennis cause. I look like a poser, but if you give me a chance, I can explain myself. To put it simply, I haven't always been the anti-tennis crusader you see today. This passion was birthed from experience. I used to be a big fan of tennis. You might have called me insane. My love for the sport was undeniable, but something changed that. I thought I knew it all about tennis. I was a master at the Wii Sports version. The NES version was one of my top favorite NES games, but when I had the chance to play the real thing, I was humiliated. I fucking suck at tennis. I was laughed at by my peers, and it made a lasting impression on my brain. After all these years, I refuse to sell my copy of tennis. I refuse to subject another soul to this torment by putting it up for sale.
Why are you so petty, dumbass? Get over it.
No! I need to make a video about it. I need to get internet points out of my trauma.
What you need is to move on.
What?
Why are you like this, Colin?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's time to move on.
Yeah, you're right. It's time to move on. Time to move on down to the subscribe button and hit that fucking bell. God, I hate tennis!